Some friendly banter before the game. The players catching up with each other prior to tip-off. We're in the place they call Oracle Arena in Oakland, California, the home of the Warriors, where we're going to broadcast today's game live. Kevin Harlan here, joining me, Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, and the entire 2K Sports crew. Today's game continues this Golden State Warriors homestand. Well, compared to last season, you'd have to say the start to this season has not been quite what you'd expect. They hope to improve their record with the wins tonight, certainly.
You know, looking at the Warriors, they've really struggled much the same way they did a year ago. It just hasn't gotten much better for them.
Clark, for me, they didn't show a whole lot of fight when the tide turned against them, and that's what the NBA is all about. It's about getting off the mat because adversity is going to hit every single team. It's always how you respond that's important.
The starters for the Utah Jazz, Kirilenko, Millsap, and Jefferson are the front court. Bella's out there with Devin Harris, and for the Warriors, Lee and Udoh at the 4 and 5. Then it's Al Thornton. Then there's Ellis.
What a year it was for Paul Millsap last season, guys. With Carlos Boozer leaving for Chicago as a free agent, Millsap stepped into that starting power forward role and really delivered for Utah.
Now let's send it down to Doris Burke, who was able to talk with Mark Jackson.
Yes, Kevin, the crucial aspect for them in his mind is going to be making things tough inside for their opponent. He said they're physical, they like to mix it up. If we don't respond in kind, they'll push us around and we'll get bullied all game. Back to you.
Thank you, Doris.
It's good defense. Don't let a guy get a lay-in, foul hard, and send him to the free throw line.
Yeah, I like that billboard there, sending a message. You can't come in here and get anything free in our paint.
Back to Millsap and Boozer. You could see Millsap, Clark, as a backup, had the talent with Boozer ahead of him all those years up in Salt Lake.
Yeah, he certainly did. I mean, Utah had one of the best 1-2 punches at that position, Kevin. But it just didn't make sense again to keep both of them because you saw Millsap being able to be an effective starter and a little younger than Boozer as well. So I think it made sense to give him a nod.
It's got to be very hard to get this kind of treatment from your own fans.
You know what? I've got to say this, fellas. I mean, it's been self-inflicted, though. He brought it right to his doorstep.
Here's Clutch. Another three for Golden State.
Wow, so good. On the run, knocking down that shot. That's tough. And the Warriors traditionally have been a run-and-gun team. Last season was no different. They were tied for 4th in the NBA overall in three-pointers made, and they were #1 in the league in fast break points.
The outside leaner. Jefferson with the rebound.
I'd rather see him just pull straight up. He went for that leaner, and it seemed to be off balance a bit.
Blocked. And they're able to recover. Good. Here's Clutch. He has 6. Guarded by Harris. Here's Clutch. And the Warriors take on 2 more. In that running gun style, Steve, you said, #1 in the NBA in fast break points. So ingrained, it seems, Clark, in the Warriors culture.
Well, I tell you what, I love that style, as do you, Steve. I mean, it's a lot of fun to watch. Part of the reason this team has drawn crowds even when it hasn't won because they play such a fun, entertaining style. But I think the Warriors realize they've got to get bigger and more defensive-minded if they're going to be competitive.
Gets it to go. Lee's got his first basket of the night.
He is truly a special offensive talent, and he's always going to cash in on those kind of chances.
Now here is Harris. Defense right on him, and Millsap backed it in. Shot clock at 6. Harris kicks to Kirilenko. His 3-pointers off the mark.
Almost surprised that he had that much room to work with.
Back to Ellis. Here's Clutch. Goes up with the stripe. Jefferson with the rebound.
And a nice job there defensively, just getting a hand up enough to bother the shot.
Yeah, that was very nice. Impressive. It made it a much more difficult shot.
Now here is Harris. 14 points from him the last game against the Trailblazers in Portland.
That bounce pass got him the ball in rhythm. Nice play.
You know, Mark Jackson signed on with the Warriors this last summer. He could be a fit for them with his background as a pass-first point guard. He certainly talks like a coach when you hear him analyze games.
From 11 feet away. Takes it right up. And Jefferson throws it down. It's all knotted up. Ties back and forth this first half.
Well, 5 lead changes early on, guys, as we grapple back and forth.
This could be a back and forth game all the way, guys, the way it's being played. This is fun to watch.
Here's Clutch. He's got 11. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
Well, getting back to Mark Jackson for a minute, his ability to mentor those young guards in Golden State will, I think, help the Warriors in a big way as they try to change the direction of that franchise and get back into the playoffs.
And the Warriors making a change here. Amundsen's checked in. Utah also making some changes. Derek Favors checked in for Millsap, and Earl Watson is subbed in for Devin Harris. Here we are in November. Let's see how things are shaking out in the West early in the season. Look at Utah, down at 10th in the early going, looking to make a move up in the standings. And, of course, the Warriors right on their heels.
Checking out Utah, they've had a tough time setting themselves apart from the pack this season.
Yeah, they sure have. It's really been one of those years where nothing really gets going, and there's never kind of an ignition that kicks in for this club. They just kind of seem to hover around the middle all year.
Now here's Jefferson, coming in off a 21-point game his last outing. Here's Kirilenko, and Utah again with the bucket. 6 changes of the lead here.
Yeah, no team able to build a big lead early on. I mean, it's tight.
What do you think, Steve?
Well, both teams still kind of feeling each other out here, and neither team has been able to find an edge in this game. A major front court overhaul for Utah last season with Carlos Boozer leaving for Chicago as a free agent. Okur was injured most of the year. So it was up to Al Jefferson and Paul Millsap to really come through on the front line.
It's Bell on the wing. Here's Favors, and there's another one for the Jazz. Back to what you said, Steve, about the Jazz. They do have a lot of guys up front that can score. Clark, he played on the front line in the NBA. You know how important that is. You probably have an appreciation for these guys that the Jazz have up front.
No question, Kevin. I mean, Al Jefferson and Paul Millsap, and then if Okur can get healthy, he gives them a dimension with his ability to stretch the defense outside, shooting the ball. And then on the bench, they've even got some guys that can put the ball in the basket pretty well.
Now Watson, Favors with the screen. He's against Amundsen. And stolen by Thornton.
Well, if the defender doesn't buy the pump fake, there's a good chance he's going to be able to tip that ball loose.
And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
And this past offseason, Monte Ellis, they made an effort to put more muscle on. He plays in a small backcourt with Steph Curry and Golden State. So he's frequently asked to guard bigger and stronger players.
And for Ellis, adding some strength could really help. You think back to a player, Clark, like Joe Dumars, a capable defender, 6'3". He didn't get overpowered very often. He didn't.
Well, Joe was really thick, especially through his hips and thighs, knew how to use that. Upper body was strong as well. And for Monte Ellis, with his great athleticism, if he recognizes the need to get stronger, then he will, and he'll be more effective, particularly at the defensive end. Offensively, he's a lot to handle right now.
Warriors leading by 3. Here's Udo, and the layup is good. Udo's got his first 2 points of the night.
Right out of the gate, just filling it up.
Both teams are, guys. I mean, points coming fast and furious.
Backing down is Jefferson. Kirilenko with it. He's coming off a 10-point game against Portland. Short, but good off the iron. Kirilenko's got 6.
Yeah, why not? Keep firing. He's shooting really well here early on.
There's the triple. And another 3 for Golden State.
Wow, he is just burying shot after shot from long range.
And he'll keep calling and begging for the ball, I'm sure.
And here's Watson. Backing down is Jefferson. Jefferson is called for charging. That's foul number 2 for him.
He's got to be very careful here because he's already got 2 fouls here in the first quarter.
And the Warriors with some changes. Andres Biedrins is checked in for Udo. Lee comes in for Louis Amundsen. And it's Williams in for Al Thornton. So Utah going with an almost entirely new group here. Paul Millsap's checked in for Jefferson. Hayward comes in for Andre Kirilenko. C.J. Miles, he's checked in for Raja Bell. And Devin Harris is subbed in for Earl Watson. 55 seconds left in the first quarter. And the Jazz call time here. This game against Golden State is the first time they've met this season.
And, I think they may have a little extra motivation because they lost last year's season series to this team.
Here is Hayward. Williams picks him up. Harris misses. Two teams kind of bringing up the back end of the conference. It's not a matchup the top teams are going to pay much attention to.
Well, even if the high end isn't interested, you can bet these guys are. Two teams trying to build themselves up. You can measure improvement in other ways if you're not making the playoffs.
That's a great point. And the jam by David Lee.
Well, thanks to some good shooting, they're off to a nice lead here.
Well, they hit the ground running, Steve, from the tip-off, and they've yet to slow down.
They are setting the tone here early with their work on the boards.
Yeah, only a moderate advantage here, a slight one, but as the game wears on, it's one they'll definitely look to build on.
Man, he shows us he knows how to finish with a flourish.
Here's Clutch. He had a 27-point outing in their last game against New Orleans. Guarded by Harris. That will count. And that's not going to go. The basket's coming early and often in the first quarter. Warriors lead by 8.
The NBA season continues to take shape. LeBron James and the Miami Heat.
Here is Harris. 9 points in the game so far. Taking a look at the Jazz. Andre Kirilenko and Paul Millsap are the 3 and the 4. Devin Harris is out there with Bell. And it's Okura in at the 5, roaming the paint. Kirilenko backing down. 4 on the clock. Goes up on the wing. No good from Okura.
Well, that's definitely a good look. The defense can't be that relaxed. And expect him to miss consistently from there. He's too good.
Jazz trail by 7.
And the Warriors have had very little success over the last 15 years or so, but they've got new ownership in place, so there's hope. And they've got some good young talent. They've manufactured their cap situation, and they're trying to bring in as many good players as possible. I think this has a chance to be an excellent franchise.
Strong thoughts there, Steve. Ironically for the Warriors, some of the best moves the Warriors have made recently didn't involve a trade at all. Like Monte Ellis, for instance, Clark. He was supposedly going to Memphis.
Kevin, you're exactly right. Sometimes the best move is no move. And they need to keep adding talent, but you got to manage your money wisely. You've got to be smart and creative. And if you're going to trade away a key player, you better make sure you get significant value in return. Paul Millsap slipped to the second round because he was undersized, but he sure doesn't play like an undersized guy inside. He goes right at people, and playing inside is more about mentality than it is just physical ability.
Great point about Millsap, Clark. He's listed at 6'8", but he is a handful, Steve. You can't move him in the post.
No, he's so strong. He knows how to use his body well. He's got very quick feet. And he just understands how to get his shot off over the top of bigger, stronger defenders.
Harris against Bynum. And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot 2.
Devin Harris, Kevin, was an all-star with the Nets back in 2009, but injuries have held him back recently. He played 71 games last season, and that was the most he played in 4 seasons.
That's good from Harris. And going back to Devin Harris, Clark, considered a scoring point guard, which is often kind of a backhanded compliment. He did set a career high in assists last year, Steve. Over 7 a game.
Yeah, and when he was in New Jersey, he really didn't have a whole lot of help offensively. So we'll see how he can develop in Utah. They've always played a pretty specific system that involves everybody. And I think Devin Harris will have a chance to really blend in well there with the Jazz.
And the basket by Kirilenko. Kirilenko's got 12 in the game.
Boy, that was a pretty assist by Harris.
Here's Ellis. Trying tried to answer back, but that three is off the mark. Utah trailing here. Next up will be a home game matched up against the Pacers. That game marks the first half of a quick two-game homestand. Harris misses. Here comes Monte Ellis. He's got 8. Now here's Bynum. Here's Clutch, defended by Bell. Here's Clutch. And again, no good by Golden State. And it's the Jazz's ball. Trailing by 2. They're moving on after the tough loss they took at the hands of the Blazers.
I was very disappointed in their ball movement, their shot selection, their spacing. It seemed like they had no rhythm at the offensive end.
None at all, Steve, and in part because they did a poor job of spacing the floor. And when you don't space the floor, it's hard to get shooters open.
And the Warriors decide to take their first time out here.
A tough year a season ago for Mehmet Okur. He had that ruptured Achilles that he had to come back from. And then by the time he did come back, his back flared up on him. And Utah really missed his outside shooting.
Looking at who's out there now for the Warriors. David Lee checked in for Thornton. And it's Williams in for Will Bynum. Then for the Jazz, Francisco Elson's checked in for Okur. C.J. Miles comes in for Raja Bell. And Ronnie Price has subbed in for Devin Harris. Here's Clutch. Passes to Udov. Shoots a fader. And it's Kirilenko with the rebound. Talking about Okur, he definitely would have added to Utah's front court with his shooting. You know, even as a second look from the other bangers they have down low.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, one thing that he could really do for that team is space the floor. His ability to stretch out the defense with his shot making, and because of his size, he would typically take a bigger guy away from the basket. And when you can do that, that helps your squad run offense more effectively.
Well, a lot of storylines in Utah last season. Jerry Sloan finally stepping down as coach, and then that was followed by the blockbuster trade sending Darren Williams to New Jersey. So a lot of new faces in Salt Lake.
Price outside. And Millsap backing in. Fires it up. And again, it's Utah. Back to that trade that Steve was talking about for Utah. It caught me off guard. I'm sure it caught you off guard as well.
No question about it, Kevin. I mean, nobody really saw it coming. It just seemed like it was time to start over, and they got right back to work, and now in a bit of a rebuilding mode, if you will.
There's the feed to Kirilenko. Miles the pass to Price. Kirilenko backing down from 17 feet out. Clutch rips down the defensive board. The Warriors trailing, defeated by the Hornets in their last game. They'll try to put that one behind them.
And a big key to the loss to me was how poorly they shot their free throws. They just didn't make the most of their opportunities at the line.
They sure didn't. I'm not sure if it was a lack of concentration or confidence or a combination of the two, but they never looked settled at the stripe.
And Millsap backing in. A 3-ball, and there's Price. That's good on the assist by Paul Millsap. Now it's a 5-point Jazz lead. They've definitely hit that groove offensively.
They sure have, guys. I mean, really aggressive. And I like that posture and mindset. Stay aggressive.
Yeah. Steve, you like groove, don't you?
I do. I love groove, Kevin, and I love the attack mode this team is in, too. I mean, they're really getting into the paint. They're getting whatever they want offensively.
Outside Kirilenko. He's guarded by Williams. Kirilenko dishes to Miles. A three-pointer off the mark. And it's the Warriors with the ball. There's the three, and that one's good. He's got 27.
Well, he's a great option from long range on the fast break if you give him that much room.
Now Price. Here's Elson. Outside Kirilenko. Used the shot fake to create the angle, but couldn't get it to fall. Price against Ellis. Here's Clutch. Running shot. The rebound by the Jazz. Kirilenko's got his 4th rebound in this one.
Well, neither team has really gained an edge rebounding-wise here, and the score reflects that.
Well, if one team can start hitting the boards harder, I mean, it'll give them a good chance to pull away.
Dishes to Miles. Lets the three fly. The shot is off. It's a tie game here in Oakland. We'll be right back here live from Oakland.
Good evening. It's time now for your HP halftime report. The Warriors are putting up one heck of a fight. They're looking to make up some ground in this one. They're trying to get their season back on the winning track. David Lee scoring with ease against Utah. He's got 8 points and is always looking to go to work on the boards. Good overall. Also, though, for the Jazz. They've limited the second chance buckets. They've been crashing the defensive glass, playing big on the defensive end. Excellent output from Andre Kirilenko in this one. He's got 12 points and is also working on the other end of the floor. Nice defensive work. Nothing comes easy in the NBA, but these two are making it look so. Here are the top scorers. And now, other NBA games in the books from earlier. Let's check them out. New Jersey ended up with a loss to the Hawks at Phillips Arena. 7 points separating the teams in this one. Their leading scorer, Darren Williams. And checking out another game that wrapped up at Amway Center, the Magic with a win over the Raptors. Nice double-digit win for them. Dwight Howard was their top scorer. And now here's what's going on in the rest of the association. For San Antonio, it was a win against the Rockets in Houston. They ended up just taking that game over. They were in complete control. Manu Ginobili.
And we welcome you back to the Bay Area, to Oakland, California, and the beautiful Oracle Arena. Here's Harris. Clutch, he's in at the point. Lee and Udoh at the 4 and 5. Now Thornton is out there with Ellis, and that's the group for Mark Jackson as we begin the second half. Harris, shot is off, so the Warriors take it the other way.
Boy, Devin Harris, maybe the fastest scoring guard in the league. He's a kind of a combo guy in between a point and a two, but at 6'3", lightning speed, he can really move.
For the lead, and he nails the jumper. He's got 29 points.
He continues to do everything well out there.
You know what? And it's really hard based on that to determine what he's done best so far.
When you talk about Devin Harris, a combination of driving ability plus a nice step-back jumper make him a real handful for the defense.
Yeah, you know, but going back to his days in Dallas, he was maybe their best perimeter defender as well. I mean, with that great lateral quickness and good hands. That's one area of his game I'd like to see him return to, being locked in and being that disruptive defensive force.
And it's the Jazz's ball. Kirilenko kicks to Harris. That puts them in the lead. Harris has got 12 in the game.
This is an interesting matchup. Neither team has been able to get an edge.
I tell you what, it's been enjoyable to watch this one. I mean, they haven't given an inch to each other, and neither side is backing down in this one.
And taken away by Ellis. Here's Clutch. Guarded by Harris. Goes up low. He lays it in with a soft touch. He has 31.
He's not the tallest guy around, but boy, can he score in the post. Some guys just have that knack, and he's certainly one of them.
And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him.
When you put the isolated cam on the Warriors, I mean, normally pretty tough at Oracle Arena. Even though they haven't been much of a playoff contender, the crowd still shows up and gives them tremendous support.
Clark, you're right on it. Warriors last season, 26 up and 15 down at home, an 8-game improvement to the prior year. Steve, not bad.
Not bad at all, and that's pretty much a 10-game improvement overall. So the next step for Golden State is to figure out how to win on the road. If they can do that, this is a team that could possibly be in the playoffs next season. Well, the Jazz have been such a model of consistency for so long as a franchise. And that's why last year was strange, seeing them finish below 500 and out of the playoff picture.
Back to Kirilenko. He's guarded by Thornton. The shot by Kirilenko, no good. And it's the Warriors with the ball. They've never trailed by more than 5. Back to that point Steve was making about the Jazz. The franchise has had success for so many years, such a long time. It'll be interesting to see how they handle, maybe a down slump or maybe a couple down years here as they rebuild.
Well, you know what, Kevin? I think it's going to take a little bit for them to get back to where they once been. The parts and pieces have to be added, and it's hard to imagine the Jazz out of the playoffs for too long, but they've got some work to do in upgrading their personnel.
Harris had him up in the air with the pump fake and then took advantage. Harris has got 16. He kicks it to Lee. Nice move. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up.
And one thing you heard about David Lee in his first year with the Warriors was how much he brought to the table in terms of leadership and work ethic. Loves to play this game, and it's so important to have a guy like that on your team to really set the tone for the rest of the young players.
And getting back to Lee, for a team with a lot of youth, what Lee brought was just invaluable in that sense.
Kevin, we can never overstate the value of professionalism coupled with production, and that's what David Lee brought to the Warriors. He's productive, he's consistent, and he's a pro in how he goes about his work. Yep.
An easy 2 points on the layup. He's got 34, and not even 3/4 out of the way. So many lead changes.
One heck of a game. I mean, guys, this has been outstanding in terms of the effort that both sides have been able to put out.
Looking over there at Steve, he's enjoying every second of it.
Me too.
Man, this has been great, guys. The fans getting their money's worth here. Both teams just playing so hard out there.
Utah trailing here. He'd better get a move on. Here's Jefferson. Goes back up. And the rebound goes to the Warriors. They'll be at home for the next game against the Bobcats. And that will be the 3rd of 5 straight played at home. Here's a look at what's coming up for the Utah Jazz. Next up will be a home game matched up against the Pacers. That'll be the first of 2 straight at home.
Monte Ellis, Kevin, such an established scorer in the league. Easy to forget that this guy was just a 2nd-round pick, number 40 overall back in 2005.
Free throw good, yep. Warriors trail by 3. And so in the game for the Jazz. Favors at the 4 with Jefferson at the center. Andre Kirilenko is out there with Bell. And it's Millsap in at the small forward slot. Now, here is Bell. Guarded close. Kirilenko gets to Millsap. Back to Kirilenko. And Curry picks him up defensively. Kirilenko in the pass to Favors. 4 on the clock. Tries again. And foul called as he misses. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. And here's a look at what's coming up with the Golden State Warriors. They'll be at home for the next game against the Bobcats. And that'll be the middle game of their 5 and their longest homestand of the year. And the first one comes.
It's really weird, guys, to not see the Jazz in the postseason. They have found their way in so consistently over the last 20 years, really, guys.
That's right. That one is no good. Clark back to the Jazz. That came close, but too much upheaval, Steve, I think, on their roster for the start of the season.
Yeah, I agree. And they're in a rebuilding mode now, but you can't count the Jazz out the playoff picture for long. Not with their history. They've been one of the strongest franchises in the NBA. And the fadeaway was about his only option. They're really good defensive position.
Feeds it to Jefferson. Curry meets him. He dishes it to Millsap. All sorts of time. Count the bucket.
Boy, this is scary. You get a score rolling like this, you're in some trouble.
Yeah, you can't leave a guy like that on the island. I mean, you got to bring some help.
Here's Clutch. A beautiful reverse layup. He had 38 in the game.
He had almost a free run to the hoop that time. I mean, that was too easy.
Clutch It's the reach-in call. That's his third foul of the game. Here's Millsap. Kicks to Favorite. The dish is back. Backing down to Jefferson. Fires for deep.
I'm sure coach would like to see them take more higher percentage shots. They have the lead, but they've not been able to knock down the threes as well as they did in that first half.
Puts it up. Rebounded by Bell. Bell's got 3 rebounds now in this one. This is the Bell. And the pass to Jefferson. Curry meets it. Turn around, Shea. It's rebounded by Thornton. Thornton's got 3 rebounds now in this one. Unload from 9. Curry gets the bucket. Here is Bell. Carolina gets it Bell. Wilson defended by Bell. A bucket is good. A chance for one more. Udo builds one out.
Looking much more comfortable out on the floor here in the second half.
Some changes for Golden State. David Lee checks in for Thornton. Williams comes in for Charlie Beck. And it's Ellis in for Steph Curry. And he completes a 3-point play.
Jefferson couldn't quite get his numbers back to the career high he had at 09. He came close. I thought he turned in a really strong year.
Here's the clutch. Almost after the rebound. Jazz lead by 5. One valuable is on Jefferson. 18 points up to by 10 rebounds.
Pretty good numbers for a center. I'll take that any day. You just hope Minnesota can parlay that they're not shooting from Al Jefferson and some of those young players. They can parlay that into a more productive season as an MVP.
Here's the clutch. Rockets at 6. Here's Ellis. Puts up the 31. Here's the shot. The offensive class. Such a big part of this game. It's going to pay off. Here we go. Backing down Jefferson. Over one. No substitutes. Easy on there, but now this is over for a while. Here's Williams. Now on the shot. No good to the sponsor, too. It's the Warriors last season played the top-company team with draw. Or the loss. But it was less top-company, which was obviously Steve Clifford. It was 21-30. And Williams from Bobo. Round Warriors. We just about that. 21-31 down. Shootouts. But how do they come away victorious?
I think the front office is really good. They focused on needing to get longer and stronger in West. You got to have a bang, big boy. So they've got to get big.
The Warriors by 4. Pictures of Ellis. Here's the clutch. Some nice passing. Backing down the lead. And the Warriors missing. One comes Devin Harris. And Jefferson to go. Jefferson's got 5 points now.
That makes 5 of the last 6 mates coming inside.
Really focused on trying to get the ball in the eight because they're taking advantage of very porous defense down there.
And so he draws the foul shot. A triple line to shoot. It's a
easy call, but I just was like I got hit on the way up.
Yes, sir. Clearly gets it while he's in the ball. There's no doubt about it.
Al Horton checked in for the Warriors. Andre Kirilenko checked in for the Jazz. Ellen Guns for J.J. Miles. No good at restaurant distance. Second, this is also.
And they are working inside. Good job on the glass.
Excellent job on the glass. I agree. I mean, they're back there. They're behind the back. They're getting the job done. Devin Harris just has to slow down. 16 points and two nice steals as well. Good contribution from offensively with the assist. And also making some nice deals.
You're right, Clark. He's been equal parts creative and disruptive.
Great look to find him inside like that. That's the way to find him when you're ready to score, guys.
Jefferson. Hill picks him up. Jefferson takes him to Harris. Harris has got 4 this quarter.
Yeah, they are really getting chewed up inside here. I mean, that's 8 of the last 10 points they have given up. Inside, in the paint.
Yeah, and the paint should be sacred ground for a defense. I mean, you can't let anybody just trot in there and get an easy bucket.
Back to Millsap. Responded by Ellis. They find Jay out of the way. And there's Millsap. That's good on the assist by Harris. Harris has got his 7th assist in the game. Now a timeout ball by Golden State.
Committing an awful lot of fouls. Most of them are unproductive. You don't want to let guys get easy layups. I understand that. But this could turn into a parade to the foul line.
Let's catch up with Doris from the sideline.
Yes, Kevin, I was able to listen in on what Mark Jackson was going over with his team. He was definitely not pleased. He said, you guys look lethargic out there, and told them they've got to increase their activity level. He ended the huddle by saying, this is not going to get the job done. I want to see who's going to step up.
Here's Clutch. No good.
Big lead on the boards usually equals a big lead in the game. This team is on cruise control.
Well, the rebounding differential is double digits already, so this is a team that just looks bigger and tougher than the opponent.
Harris dishes to Kirilenko. Millsap. 6 on the shot clock. And there's another one for the Jazz.
This just adds to what has already been a great day for him.
And they get it. It's blocked. It's a good chance for them to slow it down.
Yeah, I agree. Got to use some clock here.
And fouled hard that time. He'll get to the line and shoot too.
You know, when you look at cable and video games, the internet now with smartphones as well, it's pretty amazing how much more accessible the game is to fans than it was back when I played in the days of hot pants.
The Jazz making a switch. Melo Cooler is checked in for Jefferson. Elson comes in for Andre Kirilenko. Bonnie Price is checked in for Raja Bell. And Earl Watson is subbed in for Devin Harris. And again, it's the Warriors missing. Going back to the all-digital distribution of the game, Steve, the NBA deserves credit for really staying on the cutting edge.
Yeah, for sure. And you can see games now in 3D. You can see it on your phones. You can see games on the internet. It's just amazing to think about the innovations and technology that have taken place in the last decade and how they have affected our game.
And making a change here, the Jazz. Miles is checked in. Both shots good from the stripe. It's been several possessions since they've converted.
Well, they've got to find a way to change that.
A jump hook. And yes, sir, that one drops.
That was interesting. He was at a huge disadvantage size-wise, but he found his way to the basket.
Well, Steve, giving up some height on the mismatch didn't really affect it.
Okur with the screen on Ellis. He passes to Watson. Jacks up a 3. And unable to corral the miss, and it goes out of play. .27 seconds left in the game. Here's Clutch. He's covered by Watson. Here's Clutch. So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there. No good on the free throw. Good on the second free throw. Here is Watson. And so it's Utah easily grabbing the win. You know,
Great game out there tonight. You set your career high in points. Was this just a one-time outburst, or do you see yourself scoring like this on a regular basis?
Believe me, this is a conversation we're going to be having several more times in the future. I may have got my career high tonight, but that's just for tonight. I'm getting better every day, so don't be surprised if I top that mark next game. And the game after that, and the game after that. I feel like the sky's the limit for me, you know?
Oh my gosh! As you can see, trade does not work and the manager the request in a trade attempt. Wow. Starting units para sa Air 21, Arboleda, Caldereta, Thomas, Homerson, and